Let's get into the meat of tzedakah. We're going to learn today one of the foundation Gemaras in the Sugya. It's a Gemara in Tainis, Daf Tes Amud Aleph. It reads as follows. V'am Rabbi Yochanan, Mai dichsiv aser to aser. What does it mean, that which is written in the Pasuk twice, aser to aser? You should surely give your tithes. Aser, tithe, bishvil shetit asher, in order that you shall become rich. Eshkoche Rabbi Yochanan liyenuke de Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan found Reish Lakish's child, bumped into him. Amalei aimali pesukecho. And Rabbi Yochanan said to the little boy, teach me the pasuk that you're learning. Amalei aser to aser. I'm learning the pasuk of aser to aser. The little boy says to Rabbi Yochanan, Amalei umay aser to aser. Why does the Torah repeat the language of aser to aser? Amalei aser b'shvil shetit asher. It's teaching you that you should give your tithe in order that you should become rich. Says the little boy, Amalei minalecha. How do you know that that's the pshat? How do you know that that's true? Amalei, Rabbi Yochanan replies to him, Zil nasi. Go try it out. Amalei omi shari linsuye lekadosh baruch hu. The little boy says back to Rabbi Yochanan, are you allowed to test God? The Haksiv, it says in the Torah, Loiten asus Hashem. You're never allowed to test him. You're never allowed to say, I'll do this mitzvah if you give me this, or I'm going to test to see that the reward you promised me for it is going to come true. You're not allowed to do that. How can you tell me to go and try it out? Amalei hachi ami Rabbi Yoshaya. Chutz mizu. Tzedakah, Maisa, is the exception to the rule. Shenemar, because Hashem gives an explicit instruction in this mitzvah to test him. Haviu es kol ha-Maisa beisa oitzar, v'yehi teref beveisi. You should bring all the Maisa into my storehouse, and let there be food in my house to feed the poor and the Levim and the Kohanim, says Hashem. Ubechanuni na bezois. And I beg of you, please test me in this area. Amar Hashem tzvakoi, says Hashem. Im loy eftach lachem es arubas hashemayim. If I don't open up for you the storehouses, the windows of Shemayim, v'harikoisi lachem brocha ad blidai, and I will shower upon you brocha ad blidai. Says the Gemara, what does it mean, ad blidai? Without end. What does that mean? Amarami barchama amarav ad sheyivlu sifsoseichim miloi mardai, until your lips are worn out from saying to Hashem, enough, 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 I've got enough. Says Rabbi Yochanan, you see from Rabbi Yoshaya that in the area of tzedakah, despite that in every other aspect of avodas Hashem, you are not allowed to test Hashem. In the mitzvah of tzedakah, Hashem says, I beg of you, test me in this. You keep my mitzvah, and I will shower upon you financial blessing that it will be obvious. Nikola ayin. Your test will prove the results until you have so much brocha in the work that you do that your lips will be worn out from saying to Hashem, that's quite enough, 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 I have enough. That's an incredible Gemara. There's so much depth in this Gemara, which perhaps we will go to at another time. For the meantime, I want you to have the source in your hands. The foundation of the Gemara is as follows. There's a mitzvah in the Torah called tzedakah, and it's meyuchad. It's something unique. It's the only mitzvah you're allowed to test God in. And the test is, will He provide me with bracha in my financial endeavors? And please don't read this Gemara wrong. It doesn't mean you'll be blessed. You'll be happy with your lot. You'll be so satisfied. The Gemara is clear. Aser bishvil shetit asher. Give a tithe so that you will become rich. I will shower upon you financial bracha that you will be able to see with your own eyes. Go test it out. It's beyond belief that you could have such a Gemara. It's very important for me to point out now the following thing. When the little boy said to Rabbi Yochanan, how do I know this pshat is true? Rabbi Yochanan never said to him, well, go look at all the people around you and you'll see that it's true. He never said that. He said, you go and test it out. You give tzedakah and see if it works. And that's one of the most fundamental lessons you need to know in all the things we're going to learn, and especially in tzedakah. You may not observe the behavior of other people. And let's limit our observation here in tzedakah. You don't know who is giving. You do not know how much people earn. You do not know how much people give. You do not know what percentage they give. You do not know if they give generously, if they give with a hard heart, with a good. You know nothing about what other people do. And therefore, it is impossible for you to know if this works by observing the people that you know around you are big balei tzedakah, but they're not wealthy, or very wealthy people who don't give. You have no idea, like they have no idea about your private life. Rabbi Yochanan says, the only way you will know if this is true is if you go and test it yourself. Because then you'll know how much you earn. You'll know exactly how much you give. You'll know how much care you place in distributing it. You'll know if you give it with a kind heart, if you give it with a hard heart. You'll know everything about that process, and the results will be blatantly obvious, says Hashem. This is not an area where it's hidden from you, and one day you'll see the results of your actions. Zil nasi, said Rabbi Yochanan. Go try it out. There are many other sources where the Torah says explicitly that by giving tzedakah, you'll become rich. It's the fundamental cornerstone of a wealth building strategy of a Torah Jew. You can't build anything without it. There's a very important Tosfos on this daf. I'm not going to do the whole Tosfos, it'll take us too long. There's a few important Nitudas for this share which I want to share, and I encourage you to learn the entire Tosfos well, because it's endless insights there into this area of your life. The Tosfos says, Aser to Aser, Hachi Isa B'Sifri. This is brought down in the Midrash. Aser to Aser es kol tvuas zarecha hayoytze asade shona shona. That's the full pasuk. And the Sifri says, Einli ele tvuas zarecha shechayev b'maisa. I only know that you become rich if you take maisa on your grains, where there's a Torah obligation to take a tithe out of your grains. Ribi suprakmatya b'kol shar revochim minayin. How do I know that the money I earn from interest that I take on non-Jewish loans, uprakmatya and business profits that I make, v'kol shar revochim and any other profit that I make, that if I give my tithes on that, I will also get the bracha of becoming rich? Talmud loimar es koil. There's a ribui in the pasuk. It says es kol tvuas zarecho. Tahavi matzi lemeimar es tvuascho. My kol. Why does it add in the word kol tvuascha? The rabbis ribis uprakmatcha v'kol davashe marviach boy. To include any place where you make profits, whether it be in interest or business or any other way of earning. When you take your tithe, you enter into this promise of God that for giving that away, you will become rich. That is the secret to building a Jewish wealth in every area of earnings. That's the first Chiddush in Tosfos. You should know that the Midrash teaches us that this promise is not left to a farmer in a field, but to any person, however they earn their income. When you tithe it, that becomes the primary source for a person's wealth. And then Tosfos continues, and he carries on in the Midrash. The following is also brought, he says, in the Midrash. The end of that pasuk says, Hayoytze hasade shona shona. that which comes out of your field every single year. Kloimar, im lo ta'aseh sadcha kehugen. If you don't tithe your field properly, lo yeh lecha ela, what will remain with you will only be hayoytze min hasadeh, that which is normally given away from your field. Kloimar, says the Midrash, lo yaseh sadcha ela kefi ma'aseh shehayu koidem lachen. Your field will start to produce only the quantity that you used to give away as ma'aseh. The output from your field will no longer be 100. It will become 10. It will start to reduce its profits so that you're only able to earn that which you used to give away. Dahainu hayoytze min hasadeh, that which you took away from your field is what your field will produce. Kloimar ma she'ayisa rogil lehoytzi lemaaseh min hasadeh, that which you used to give away as ma'aseh from your field. So says Tosfos, this Midrash is teaching us something incredible. You should not think that ma'aseh is only upside. If you keep it, it's the promise of wealth. And if you don't, you're not a tzaddik and you don't get the bracha. You're left at your own disposal. Says Tosfos, no, it doesn't work like that. When you don't give, then the profits go down. How far do they go down? Says Tosfos, you can expect to make that which you used to give away. Your 10% which you used to give away, that's what your business profits will be. So tzedakah becomes something quite inseparable from our pursuit of wealth as Jewish people. It's the secret to our success, and it's also the cause of our failure. If we don't do it, it's not that we just lack bracha, but the hashgacha then ensures that our profits begin to reduce. It's incredible. Nothing is more central to a Jewish person's pursuit of making a livelihood than their relationship to this mitzvah of tzedakah. You can try everything else, but if this is not in place in your life, and this doesn't form the anchor, root, and core of everything that you do, I'll go so far to say the rest's a waste of time. This is the anchor, the cornerstone, the foundation of everything. Reb Chaim Volozhin, in his explanation on Pirkei Avos, says over an incredible mashal, which I'm going to say outside, but I have put it in the sources for you to see inside. And I'm going to say it in my own words just for the purposes of the share. But he says, imagine if you would see a farmer who's just harvested his entire field. All the grains are sitting in his storehouse after a bumper harvest. He's had his workers then afterwards go clean out the fields of all the straw, all the stones, all the leftover rubbish that's in his field. They've dug beautiful furrows, put fertilizer into every single furrow, and then he fills his truck up with grains from the previous season, which he then drives into his fields and starts throwing the seeds over into the furrows to plant for the next season. And Reb Chaim says, do you think it's hard for that farmer to throw those seeds out into the field? If he would tell you, when I drive that truck out, you must know how hard it is for me to give these seeds away. I worked so hard in the last season for them. My storehouse is full. I have everything I need for my family. And now I have to go and take truckloads of it and throw it into the ground to rot. It's so hard for me. He said, you think he's a mashugana? He's a mishtagaya, are you mad? Every seed you put into that ground now is going to be 50, 100, 200 seeds in the next season. It's the best investment you could make with your time, and every farmer knows that. And so they take what they harvested and they happily throw it in the ground to rot. He says that's the mitzvah of tzedakah too. I gave you a share with lovely marimakoimus. They all spoke about the spiritual importance of tzedakah, but they never spoke to you. I never shared with you the secret that tzedakah makes you wealthy. And says Reb Chaim, when you really understand what tzedakah is, it's the easiest thing in the world to give. Because you realize this is the source of my financial opportunity in the next harvest. And the fact that in the previous year, you found it difficult to increase your percentage. Let's say that would be the best of you. Some of you may have even been angry with me and frustrated with me. How dare he ask me and demanded me to increase my percentage? The only reason why you felt that was because you never yet understood what this was. You didn't realize that this was planting. This was investing. You thought it was throwing away. Okay, for a good cause. But there's another part of you that it was throwing away from. The part that loves money had to sacrifice something there. But now the part of us which loves money realizes that this is the mitzvah. This is what I've been looking for my entire life. And so the hand begins to open up much easier and begins to invest in this mitzvah in a much more committed way. And we're beginning to see and taste the fruits of our journey, which we've begun over the whole series so far. That when you bring your Chemdas Mammon into the picture, it doesn't harm your Avodas Hashem. It's rocket fuel for your Avodas Hashem. It's fertilizer for your mitzvahs. It makes you want to do the mitzvahs more, and no mitzvah is affected more directly than the mitzvah of tzedakah. There is so much more to explore in this area, and I look forward to continuing in the next few shiurim, deepening our understanding of how tzedakah transforms our financial trajectory and completely transforms our relationship with Hashem.